Hi, my name is Louise Williams. I've been working with people for over 19 years, helping them to get really clear on who they are, what they want to stand for, how they want to communicate it. I've worked in schools, I've worked as a psychologist, worked in private practice, I've had my own business for over 15 years, I've also worked as a photographer. And one thing that I've noticed is that people need really clear direction on how they want to be presented and how they want to be positioned in their business, because a lot of us really struggle with this whole idea of what is internal and what is external, and what we show to the world and what we don't show to the world. So I guess you could say that I've been a personal branding expert for over 19 years because I've seen this time and time again, no matter where I've worked. And one thing that I'm obsessed with all of this is transformation and personal self-expression. Because when you can actually fully self-express what's going on inside of you, what you really stand for in your business, you can really grow your business in a way that you couldn't do before when you were really censoring yourself and holding yourself back. And a lot of people think when I talk about transformation, they think that transformation in personal branding means that you fake it till you make it, that you be something that you're not. And that's not what I'm about. Transformation is actually all about really getting to come to grips with who you are as a person, all facets of you as a person, all the bits that you are really happy with and all the bits that you're not so happy with, and putting them all together in a way where they can be really authentic and your tribe can see all the different dimensions of you as a multi-passionate person. I've been working with a number of clients over the years who really struggle with this whole level of being authentic in front of their tribe. And so they really struggle with this idea of appearing too confident in their branding because they might actually distance themselves from their clients. But I often say to people, you know, you can't be thinking about it that way. If you think about it from your client's perspective, they want to know that you can go where you're asking them to go. If you're positioning them here and you're positioning yourself up here, a lot of people think that's about putting yourself on a pedestal, and I say to them, no, that's not what it's about. If you put yourself in this position, you do it without ego, but you show your clients that you're confident about working in this space, and you show all the different facets of it, not just the bright, shiny, positive stuff. Because if your client can see that, then they can be invited to step up and be there with you. And if you position yourself on the same level, they don't get to have that experience. You really rob them of that experience. And so I've had one client who I noticed this with from day dot. She's a body health expert, and she has such a lot of value to offer to her tribe. And in the early days of working together with her, we took some amazing photographs of her, but she really struggled with it because she thought, well, I don't always look like that. You know, my clients will see me and they'll think that I'm being a fraud. And I said to her, no, that's not what it's about. It's about you showing where you can take them. Because if you can go there, then they can borrow the confidence from you to know that they can get there also. Then she started to twig on that, and she started to realize, of course, you know, if I can show that I can be confident, if I can be confident in my own skin, then they'll be able to do that too, because they know that I can show them the way. And so I've seen her blossom from somebody who really struggled with this whole idea of being super confident and visible in her business to someone who now I can't stop her. She's completely like out there, she's vibrant, she's dynamic, and she's attracting her tribe. And it's a joy to watch. And so the way that I see the work that I do with people, and I'll use some symbols to show you this, because if you've watched my intensive identity video, you'll know the type of work that I do, and that is using symbolism and metaphor when I work with my clients, and this is there's no difference here. So the one thing I notice with influencer transformations that I take people through is that there's this element of a mask that people wear, especially in business. They have this element of wanting to appear very professional and coming across as really presentable and that people can relate to them. And that's great, that's fantastic. But I guess in order to step up to that next level of being an expert, you don't always have to be completely professional and almost a little bit cold looking. You can come across as presentable but also really dynamic. And so in this way I suggest that a lot of what we do is taking off this mask. So if you imagine wearing a mask in your business where you're hiding a lot of the time, you're hiding your true gifts, your true talent, and your true quirk, and your true quirky bits. That's the kind of stuff. It's all the jiggly bits of what makes us up and makes us different. And that's the stuff that your clients really want to see, because they want to know that you are just as multidimensional as they are. They want to be able to see that you've got all the dimensions of you and you are not afraid to show it. And so a lot of what I do with clients is about unmasking them and taking this mask off and really helping them to get around the mindset shift of, okay, it's all just corporate. Instead, it's, well, this is you in all dimensions. And it's a very exciting time for people as they start to unmask, because then they start to innovate and they start to create new things for their business. So the other thing that I notice is that as people are stepping up into different stages in their business branding, they reach certain levels of comfort and then they feel that they need to step things up again. And we see this through the process of the intensive identity session. We see this at the stage of the photo shoot itself. We see this stage afterwards when they actually see their photos. We see these different cliff moments that happen. And what happens is that if you think about it as though you're standing at the edge of a cliff, and you're standing there and you can feel the wind breeze blowing through your hair, and you can see down and you can see there's a really long drop, and you can see that there's huge cliffs ahead of you that are much higher, but they've got a much better view of the world. And you know that in order to get there, you're going to have to take a running jump. You're going to have to trust that something is going to take flight for you and you're going to jump and reach the next cliff. And so for a lot of people, there's this trepidation and this resistance that happens as we're trying to run to the edge of the cliff and take off. And a lot of this is identity work that we do and the change and transformation work that we're trying to create for people. And so I liken it to that of this symbol of the eagle that is taking flight and jumping off and flying off into the air. And it has to trust that it's going to reach the next level itself and it's going to be okay. But trust is a big thing, isn't it? And so there's a whole series of psychological processes that I take you through in order to get you really ready for it. And some of it is a little bit uncomfortable and some of it isn't. And some of it will be exciting and some of it won't be. But that's what transformation is. And so what I notice is that we get to the edge of the cliff, and as you jump, you realize you actually are going to reach that next cliff. And if you don't, I'm always there to hold your hand, metaphorically speaking. And part of the packages that I offer is that there are mindset coaching and mentoring sessions where I actually work you through the steps to help support you if you do fall. So I guess the unique nature of my work is that I bring in and pull in my psychology experience. I pull in a lot of my expressive therapies that I've used over the years with music and symbolism and metaphor and identity work with archetypes. And I also have a master's in organisational psychology, along with over 10 years of experience in my own business. And so all of that brought in together, I can really see where you're at and give you the confidence to be able to take the next steps that you need. So let's talk about the influencer transformation packages and the programs. So there's the first package that is really just for those people who are just starting out. They don't really have any idea for their business and they need some helping hand in terms of their branding so that they can make the first step really successful for themselves. And so I recommend that for a lot of newcomers to the business where they're really just wanting to make that right first step. And that's usually within a month that whole process takes for that first package. The second package is really for those people who want to step up and kickstart their expert business and really be noticed as an expert in their field. And that is usually around 2 months that it takes to do that. And then the next one again is all about amplifying you even more boldly than what we did in the second one. And that's usually about 3 months long because we do a lot of mentoring after the case, and we bring in your business manager if you have one, and we give you a lot of support to really get the momentum going in your business branding and marketing online and offline. So a lot of people come to me when they're thinking about doing this type of transformational work for themselves and their branding, and they talk about how they are feeling really invisible in their business, in their field. They're not really getting the notice of their clients. Their clients are going to other people rather than them. They know that they've got all of this worth inside of them that they could share, but they have no way of communicating it. They really struggle with any kind of message that's really any different to what anybody else is saying. And they really don't know how to leverage their abilities and their background in a way that really makes them stand out. And so what I say to them is that, look, if you can hold on to this process and get to the edge of the cliff and really step up, you're going to see some major changes, because what happens is that your presence starts to build. You start to get more confident in your own body and how you talk about your business, how you present yourself at networking events. You really get confident in a lot of different ways. You get very, very clear about your direction for the business, the direction for your marketing. You get very clear about your branding message, and then you know what kind of content to pair with your photos. You also get a really big shift in your mindset. So if we're unmasking you, if we're getting you to this state of being at the edge of the cliff and diving off and projecting and propelling yourself forward, that takes a lot of mind shift work to do that, because you have to trust in yourself, in your business, and in me. And so there's a lot of that happens. The other thing that happens is that you become, with your confidence, you become a lot more expressive. So what happens is that your message gets paired with enthusiasm, with credibility, with conviction. And those kind of things make you really stand out as a business owner, as an expert, and as an influencer. So if you feel like this is for you, I would suggest having a 15-minute conversation with me on the phone first, because for some people they are ready. Some people know straight away that they are ready, and for some people they're not quite sure. And I would always suggest a 15-minute phone call if you're really not sure at all, because sometimes this isn't the right time for you to do this type of process. Some people just aren't ready for this, and some people are so ready for it that they were ready for it yesterday. So if you feel that this is for you, then let's have a phone call, let's have a talk, and let's get started with this, because I love the idea of you leveling up your business, leveling up your branding in a way where you can really start to attract your ideal client, and you can build your presence as an expert, because once you can do that, the momentum will start to build. And if you can make that decision now, then in 18 months' time, things are going to be really, really different for you and your business. So I look forward to speaking with you. My name's Louise Williams.